This world is cruel and harsh. I live in a small town. Just a week ago, a dead body was drawn out of a shallow pond not 1 mile from my house. A large crowd of onlookers curiously watched as the van took away the partially decomposed body for postmortem in a black body bag. The onlookers moaned and questioned the loss. I could see the stark sense of emptiness and helplessness that plagued them. It made me realize that there is no such thing as safe haven. Is this why we read cozy mysteries? To find some solace in this uncozy, harsh, cruel world? For the armchair detectives who want to explore this more, I am discussing some of the cozy mysteries from a few selected authors. But first, we will find out what a cozy mystery is. Cozy mysteries have a gentler, character focused way to crime. They happen in a small town or a small family. Before I get into the novels, I'd like to say that there will be no spoilers of any kind about the mystery novels I discuss here. With that being clear, let's go back to cozy mysteries, one of which takes place in a small town, the small village of King's Abbot, England. Christie's work, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, takes place. This village is 9 miles away from Cranklisler. The narrator, Dr. James Shepherd, tells us that there is a railway station, a post office, a church, and 2 general stores. Roger Ackroyd lived with his family near Fernley Park. Poison seems to be one of the preferred ways to kill in a small cozy setting, for in a small town, everyone hears a pin drop. Another stunning novel is Dorothy Sayers' Whose Body? A local architect finds out about a dead body in a bathtub with nothing but a pin's nails on him. The post-World War London takes the reader across Caroline mansions and Piccadilly squares. There is a lot of significance of the place, and that is what makes cozy mysteries cozy, a sense of familiarity. Since the cozy mystery happens in a small town, there is a small web of suspects. It is also possible that the sleuth knows the victim. The Benson murder case is one of the earliest works of S.S. Van Dyne, where he introduced fellow Vance. The sleuth sees Alvin Benson, the stockbroker, shot through at his head. Vance has his clients as the suspect pool to uncover the killer. Cleo Coyle in his Coffee House Mystery series does something similar. In On What Grounds, the sleuth Clara Cozy knows the victim. She is driven by emotion, for she knows her assistant was a good person. In the novel, one comes across Clara's ex-husband, ex-mother-in-law, and her love for coffee. So in a cozy, we not only discover a small place, but also find significance in the little pleasures of life. With limited space and limited suspects, does a cozy become boring? Certainly not. They may not have incendiary subject matter or scenes of grotesque novels, but there is edginess in them that comes through a lot of dialogues and a lot of misdirections thrown to the sleuth. When a reader picks up a cozy mystery, she automatically puts herself against the criminal. One way through which a cozy author does it is making the sleuth find the clue, but not revealing what it means. In the novel The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley, Flavia de Luce, the 11-year-old amateur sleuth, investigates her father's murder. Details like a dead jackknife on her porch and strange footprints on the cucumber patch in her garden are brought to attention. While these details may look like childhood curiosities from the point of view of a child, when the answer comes to light, these details form a clear picture. In Police at the Funeral, a crime novel by Marjorie Allingham, the detective is called to investigate the disappearance of Andrew, who is later found murdered. Campion, our sleuth, explores everything from large corridors to small teacups to find the culprit. Before we go further, let us look at some of the other cozies apart from the ones I have already mentioned. There are many others to read and experience. I will start with And There Were None by Agatha Christie. It is the story of 10 people who have been invited to a small island and are getting killed off one by one. This premise has inspired so many movies. The story is almost unbearably claustrophobic even on an open island, with a dazzling solution that screams justice. The characters are a curious assortment of strangers, each of whom have a wicked past. The scary part is the presence of a nursery rhyme in every room. If you want to know who has choreographed this dastardly scheme, then you must read this more. From here, I will go on to recommend A Bicycle Built for Murder by Kate Kingsbury. It is the first of Manor House mystery series from the author. It evokes an atmosphere that is tense, fearful, and dreary. It is a cozy mystery set in a village during the World War II time. I personally enjoyed the old butler Martin. A slightly unconventional cozy is An Unmarked Grave by Charles Todd. It is set in World War I era. The sleuth is Nurse Bess Crawford. She is taking care of flu and influenza-ridden civilians. Through her work, she comes across a dead body that she suspects is murdered. She solely tries to piece together evidences from her connections in military. This is one work where the investigator is a woman. I personally admire female protagonists in crime fiction and will include many of them. The parameters of cozy mystery may vary, and so do the characters who appear out of nowhere to solve and we solve with them. So, who are these people who spawn to help to ensure that justice must be done? They are the protagonists. They are not a part of the professional law enforcement, and so we do not see a lot of police procedures. Just an ordinary person caught up in extraordinary circumstances. This is not all about cozy mysteries. In my next episode, I will discuss on the murders, suspects, victims, and the invisible and the visibles or the hidden storylines in cozy mysteries.